How's it going, YouTube? How's it going? My name is Waba, as always. Welcome to Mental Health Monday. Today I have on two lovely guests. This is the first one, and this is the first video that you'll see, and the second one will be in the second video. Wild how that works. I'll probably somehow develop either a clickbait thumbnail, or I won't do any thumbnail at all, as is the fucking format of YouTube. Alright, so yeah, be sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, here we go. It's Tiny Tubie. I don't know what we're talking about, except I might do. But hi, welcome in. Well, introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name's Tiny. I'm a 25-year-old Austrian artist, book illustrator, streamer, nerd, nap enthusiast.
Especially the last thing.
Yeah, especially the last thing. If you hear someone in the back, that's my boyfriend, who is called Ghosty. Because
Also,
you can hear him in the background.
Actually, I didn't mean to be up here. It's just all my
Don't
parts
worry.
arrived up here and the lights. Like, this room is... We have a very small
It's
house.
a small house.
This is the room that has the best light.
Yeah.
So I can't do this anywhere else. But my apologies. If there's ever a point where I should leave, like...
I will let you know.
to let me know, yeah. Like,
That's
please
fine.
don't see this as me, like, in Mental Health Monday.
But yeah, I saw that you still needed someone for Mental Health Monday, and I was like, you know what?
Yes.
I have been diagnosed with depression, so I talk about it in my streams. Why not talk about it in other streams? And ta-da! Here I am.
Yes, I'm gonna pretend that I totally remembered that right now.
Don't worry about it.
I'm sorry, I've been off today, as y'all know, so...
Don't worry. Like I tend to forget so many things. So, like,
Well then, welcome in all the way from Austria, not Australia, because I got that one wrong as well.
yeah.
Fucking...
But you're not the first one to do it. I like the first thing I hear when I tell people, "Yeah, I'm from Australia." They're like, oh, "Have you seen a kangaroo?" And I'm like, "Yeah, at the zoo."
Oh no.
That's pretty much it.
Oh no. Okay. So, depression. That's a fun topic to talk about.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was more than in denial that something might be up. Because here's a random fun fact that I, after my diagnosis, learned from my diabetes doctor, is that if you get type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, one of the most possible things you can get as a side effect is depression. So you get like a very shitty 2-for-1 deal.
Thanks, I hate it.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you got a chronic illness, but guess what? For nothing, you can get free depression just on it. Like, thanks.
We'll add in depression, rent-free.
Yeah. But it was actually my boyfriend who was like, something is up, and
It's because I was seeing my past...
yeah, he was seeing his past self before like therapy and the antidepressants
gosh.
and myself, and he was like, "You should probably get that checked." And I was like,
That's a mood.
"No,
Like,
I don't."
For like 7 years at this point.
Yeah, he has
And before
been
that,
on
I
that
was
for that
not
a
in
while.
good point. Like, I was consistently
Mm.
spiraling and feeding into like the negative behavior that I...
And
that
he
I
saw
basically
that
did
with
because
me.
I just couldn't see it
Can you-
another way, and it was just weird because I kept seeing these patterns within her, and it really irritated me because I knew how
Can-
bad I felt, and I didn't want her to feel.
Can
like
he
that.
just,
Yeah.
like, come sit next to you?
Yeah, if you want to talk, sit next to me, sir.
I'm
Alright.
sorry. I'm actually just trying to.
Then
get my
shush.
computer built.
I love you, but
speed
shush.
run doodle him, bring him into your
That's
scene.
really all. I'm shutting up now. Sorry, Waba. Sorry, Chad.
Funnily enough, I do have a PNG for him because most of the time he's like part of my streams. It's a
That's
little
fine.
ghost.
Perfect.
So if he wants to join, he can. It's
Add him into the call. I have a scene for that.
No, this is your thing. I'm sorry. Like,
It's fine.
I
So
just wanted to insert why I thought.
yeah, he saw what was happening with him before he started therapy and all that just happening with me, and I was like big time in denial. I was like, no, it's just I'm tired. No, I'm tired, and I get angry quickly. And then I went to a doctor, and he like
I'm just tired and get angry quickly.
Yeah.
Nothing to be concerned about.
It was even funnier because I was there with my mom, because I was like, I've never had like an appointment like that before. Can you just like come along? Because nah. And she was like, yeah, okay, it's gonna be fine. He's just gonna say you're like tired or something. And we sat there, and he was like, do you get irritated easily? Yes. Are you tired often? Yes. Do you feel like nothing goes right in your life? Yes. And he just listed off these things, and to everything I said yes, and in the end I was like, that's not good. And he was like, no. So
I'm like, I don't know, I'm flabbergasted in a way, you know, because I don't think I've ever met someone who didn't know that they were depressed.
I was in denial. I'm a person who very early on developed a very unhealthy habit of like putting emotions and things that are not well into like, and I'm gonna put it in a picture. I take it, I put it in a pot, I put the lid on the pot, and I sit on it until it boils over and explodes. Yeah.
This sounds like someone else in my chat. Ray, I love you.
I'm not looking at someone but Ray.
It's fine. Ray knows that I love him.
And the doctor went like, yeah, you should probably like go on antidepressants and go like back into therapy. And I was like, yeah, honestly, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
So since then I've been on antidepressants. I've went to therapy pretty irregularly, mainly because like at the beginning the therapist was really great for me, but then it just got off.
What happened?
Like I was like, you know, it's talking about stuff is always really hard to like open up about things, especially to a stranger. But I talked about a lot of things about how my diabetes influenced a lot of my life because I got bullied because of it and shit like that. And it's still in a lot of ways like has an input on my life today. And realizing that day and day again just sometimes kicks in the depression. Like, you feeling good? How about I just slap you over your back? And if you fall, it's your fault. And I talked to her about that, and she was like, but yeah, you know, sometimes we gotta let things stay in the past. Like, that's not gonna help me with learning how to cope with these moments, because that's how she just went with it. I told her sometimes I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's gonna be forever like this. Not the depression, but like my diabetes. And she just went, yeah, but sometimes you gotta let things stay in the past. Like, that's not possible, ma'am.
What? What?
Exactly.
What? Ma'am.
And that's when I decided, you know what, this therapist is no longer something for me.
I am a type 1 diabetic. Like,
yeah.
I will be diabetic my whole life.
But yeah.
Some things are just best left in the past, honey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let me just take my pancreas and leave it in the past. Maybe I'll stumble upon a functioning one in the future.
Yeah.
Who knows?
You're right. You're right. You know, because in the past, as in like 5 minutes ago, you know, my insulin was you know, put into my body, which made me feel like not awful. And, you know, that's really great. Stupid. But you're right. It's time for me to move past that. And, look at that. Beep, beep, beep. It's time. You know, like...
If I ignore it, it's not there. It doesn't work with it.
like, yeah, sure. It's well controlled, but, like, it's still a fucking bitch to deal with.
Especially, like, I had the feeling that we were going nowhere with figuring out how to help myself with depression and like the holes you just sometimes fall into, because that's all rooted in the diagnosis of diabetes 15 years ago. And she just didn't want to touch that topic, and I was sitting here like, ma'am, how's this gonna help me? She talked a lot about my future and what I wanted to do with like my education, and I'm over here like, that's not gonna help my depression, ma'am.
Ma'am. Sounds like us talking to our cat when they're doing a bad. Sir. Oh, what happened?
But yeah, it was very funky.
Yeah,
and that's why I said, you know what? No. And before that, I had 2 other therapists.
Mhm.
One who literally told me before my depression diagnosis, she was the reason why I thought it was fine, because she literally stopped seeing me because nothing was wrong with me. And I went like, okay, if a licensed therapist tells me nothing's wrong, then why should she lie?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd be completely thrown off from that.
Yeah. I was like, okay, maybe that's just who I am. Maybe I'm tired because I'm lazy. Maybe I just feel like I get nowhere because that's what will be. And because like she literally told me, like, the last day she let me, which was really funky, she let me pull a tarot card and then told me that she sees that there's nothing wrong with me, and that's why she won't see me again. And I was then sitting like in the car of my mom. I was like, this was weird. Guess I'm just okay and just wonky a little bit. But turns out I'm not.
That is the weirdest way to break up with a client.
Let me put out the tarot cards and tell you you're fine even though you're not. But yeah. Yeah. Austria has amazing healthcare, but some people are just really weird.
All right, we're doing this, chat. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, actually.
I said therapist a duck because that sounds like quack. It is. It is a quack.
That's not bad, chat. Only 1,000. Let's go. All right, chat. We're raising money for me to come overseas with my bat of justice.
You don't have to bring a bat. I have one.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Is that therapist?
I also have a sword if you want one, so you can decide.
Good. Yeah, even when there's nothing wrong.
Yeah.
People still need and deserve therapy. Absolutely.
Like,
yeah.
A thing that I also have is that I have this very deep set need to do everything perfect and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I at a point where I was like, okay, she's not gonna go on the depression topic. I was like, you know what? Maybe she can help me solve that and find like solutions to not feel like I'm worthless if I cannot do a thing perfectly the first try, even though it's something new. Even that she was unable to do, because her solution was, and now get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not everything has to be perfect. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting there like, yeah, that's what I said, but I need like help to figure out how to get that in my brain and help me cope with like my subconsciousness being like, but you need to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
She was a gem. But the good thing is you can always cope with it with like very dry, dark humor. So I guess it's fun. Yeah, exactly. Thanks. That was useless.
I mean, that's one way to cope, but that's not going to create a lasting, like...
No, it's not.
...idea in your mind, you know?
It's, thankfully, I have a lot of friends who help me through those moments where I'm like, this is not good enough, or I'm not good enough, where they like, shut up, you're...
Oh,
so...
Man. I take the opposite route of acceptance of imperfection. This is how I like healed from like my perfectionist complex. Is I was like, you know what? I'm not perfect, and I'm never gonna be perfect. And you know what? Maybe some stuff I put out there is actually fucking dog shit. But you know what? I still had fun doing it. So I'm just gonna keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, if people fucking like my dog shit content, then cool. Fucking poggers, dude. I'm having fun with it. I'm not gonna let my brain tell me that like it's awful, no one's gonna like it. Clearly some people do like it. For whatever reason. Maybe it has to do with the fact that like everyone is not perfect. And people can relate more when you're not perfect. And that's a cool thing to relate on.
Yeah.
You know?
honestly, that's something I realized, like, long story short, at the beginning of 2020, when all the worldwide Panini stuff happened,
The Panini Press.
exactly.
Oh man,
Yeah.
there's another thing on that. Furthermore, you know what you are perfect at doing?
Hmm?
You're perfect at being you.
Oh, I didn't see that one coming. I was
Right.
literally thinking about what
Fucking
it would be.
Bam, wholesomeness.
Damn, I got wholesomed. But to like, it's gotta be a real TLDR. At the beginning of 2020, a friend sent a link to a 24-hour sea otter stream. It was a baby sea otter that had just got rescued.
Is it
And
Mariners?
Joey the sea otter from Marine Mammal Rescue Center.
Yes, Marine Mammal Rescue
Yes.
Center. I love that stream.
He is an amazing little meeper. And let me just say, that link that the friend sent us changed my life that much that I have published and illustrated a book since then.
Wow,
about
really?
that otter.
Are
Yeah.
you serious?
Yeah, I've illustrated
That's
a book.
amazing.
That's it's still like saying it out loud. It's like, whoa.
The fuck? That's amazing.
Yeah, we have like a little YouTube series about an alternate universe of those sea otters where they get up to mischief and stuff. Where we're starting like season 4 soon. So, and it changed my life a lot. It's also why I started streaming and where I started talking more openly about how my life works with depression and my diabetes and how that influences life. And I'm honest when I'm feeling like dog shit. Like last week I was not feeling it. It felt like, imagine a hole in the ground and you see yourself walking towards it, but you have no way to stop yourself. And as soon as your feet are off that cliff and you're falling, you see that there's not a single rock you could cling to on the walls. And you're just plummeting.
That's depression.
Yes. And I was right there. And I canceled one stream and did another one, and I was honest in it and said, I'm feeling like shit.
Yeah.
But
I mean, coming to that realization is important, though, in a way.
yeah. And like you had at the beginning, I was feeling like shit, but afterwards I felt better.
Mm-hmm.
Because what I learned, and it's really hard because every single nerve in your body is fighting against it.
Yep.
You have to do something to not find yourself on your couch for the next 48 hours. Talk to friends, get fresh air, or I don't know, if you don't just want to go around the block, like, go get your favorite ice cream. As long as you leave the house or do something to make your brain realize, no, it's not just this deep, dark hole that I'm in, there's so much more. And that actually helped. That actually really did help, and it's... Yeah. I'm glad it did, because whew,
so it's
that was
wild.
A dark hole.
Sometimes I've said this skill in the form of, like, do things in spite of whatever you're feeling. Do things in spite of anxiety. Do things in spite of depression. Like, I know your brain's like, no, you're awful, you're worthless, whatever the fuck, you know. But you have to still do things in spite of those things, in spite of feeling that way. And you know what? You'll end up feeling better because you did it. Even if you don't do it very well, if you're like, whatever, like, oh, I want to do this sport thing, but what if I'm not good at it? Fucking do it anyway.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
The thing is, you'll never know if you're good at it or bad at it if you don't try it. Like, how are you supposed to know?
Exactly.
There's a word for it in German. It's called Schweinehund, which translates to pig's dog. And it's something you say you jump over if you have to get over it to do something that everything in your body is screaming no, but you know it's important to do it. Like when you're just so tired, but you know you have to put the groceries away, like milk into the fridge, and you really don't wanna, but you go and do it. You jumped over it. Or if you're afraid of riding an elevator, but you know that up there you'll get the most amazing view of your whole trip.
True.
So that's a thing that I'm learning very hard to do when depression hits big time. I'm like, I have to.
Cool.
It has to do.
Ja, ja. Der Rest des Interviews wird auf durch je veux
Sprechen. Sprechen.
sprechen.
Den Rest des Interviews werde ich auf Deutsch sprechen.
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 Sprechen? Yeah. Ja.
Yeah. Ja.
Ja.
German is an interesting language, but as a person who grew up speaking it, if you really want to learn it, go for it. If you want to learn it for fun, don't.
I mean, I don't learn it so I can sing drunk German karaoke, because apparently when I sing German songs, I sound like a very drunk German. So it's like a whole thing on our channel now.
Amazing. We have something similar. I have like a talk German only redeem, and people love to redeem it even though they have no clue what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then I'm the...
Yeah, then Ghost is like in chat translating on the code.
The streamer said...
I don't know. Why are you redeeming to make her talk in a language she doesn't understand?
It's so funny. And sometimes people are like, oh, I get that. I understand that word. I get that. And it's
do you know the longest German word?
Pictures. Do you mean Eierschein Sollbruchstellen verursachen?
JV? Sorry, JV is my resident German. JV, was it that one? I think it was another one.
There's a lot of words.
It was the one about like the specific law about the processing of meats.
Oh no, that's a really long word.
I know.
But like the word I just said is just for a single item that is used to manually break the eggshell of a soft-boiled egg at the right part. Eierschein Sollbruchstellen verursachen.
Does the item have an English name?
Honestly, I don't know.
If you love the kitties in the center, then you'll love the kitties live.
Kitty cats.
She's there.
Aww. I love cats.
Basket. She's vibing. Anyway.
Hecking cats. Defa is getting distracted.
Well, I'm more distracted by how we need to have the rest of this interview in German, obviously.
Well, I will have an easy time.
Mm-hmm.
I can easily switch between languages, but I think it will be harder for you to understand if I speak German.
Do you think in German or English?
At this point in my life, it's a mix.
Really?
Because Ghosty and I both speak English pretty much on a daily basis, but we were born and raised in Austria. So our mother tongue is German. But you start learning English pretty much at latest at age 10. And just from there on, learn it in school. And Ghosty spent like a year in the States, so he got that down. So it's a mix. We also we switch if we like write with each other between English and German as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And talking, and it's just all like if you put both languages into a mixer and go. That's pretty much it.
Do you dream? Aval, do you dream?
Yes, I do dream, and honestly, I don't know in which language. Like yesterday, I watched an episode of an old kids show that Ghosty and I really loved, and I'm pretty sure I watched it in English, but I don't remember because it just gets fluently translated in my head.
That's wild that you're so fluent.
I have no clue.
So here's a bonus spicy question. Are your well, I'm just going to make a giant assumption with this one. Are your intrusive thoughts in German or in English?
It's a mix.
Oh shit.
It really is a mix.
That's
It's a mix. Like I had it like one of those stupid ones where I'm like, touch the hot water, and I'm like, no,
Touch the hot water.
Don't. But also, like, when I'm
Fire.
walking on stairs, like, fun fact, in January, I slipped on ice, broke my ankle.
Don't do that.
Yeah, it was my first ever break and operation, so I did a 2-in-1 again because I'm, like, really good at those. And every time since then that I'm walking stairs, my German brain is like, but what if you trip and break it again? And I'm like, no! 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 And then I'll wobble up and down the stairs like a toddler trying to walk. Looks really elegant.
I wonder if there's like a specific pattern of like all your German intrusive thoughts are about like being hurt and all your English intrusive thoughts are like about something else. Emotional wise.
I could honestly like take track of that. That would be interesting.
It'd be interesting to see.
Like if the German ones are about like hurting myself and the English ones are about something completely stupid like drop the baby.
More impulsive.
Yeah.
Don't drop the baby.
Yeah, don't drop babies. They do not bounce. Even though they look very squishy. Yeah. And they also scream. So don't.
Place the baby gently on the ground and walk away.
Just randomly on some walkway, you're like, you know what? I'm just gonna place you here. I'm gonna slowly walk backwards. Wait, do you have a baby? No.
Okay. Let's say.
Ghosty and I are completely child-free, so...
Cool. Oh, yeah, thank God.
Same. Well, actually, I'm not child-free. In fact, one of my children is trying to break in my room right now. Hold on.
Ah, perfect.
Well, off the child. Come here, child. Come here. Come here. Stop screaming at me. Yeah, I know. You're very upset. I know. He's very upset at me. Aw. A very upset baby.
Ah, it's kitty cat time! I'm not jealous at all.
This is my child.
Good. I would say that they probably scream less if there's no treats, but knowing cats, I'm pretty sure that's a lie.
I don't give them treats specifically because they fight about them. Listen, they will fucking tear that bag open if they find it.
Yeah, I completely get that. Like, we have a cat here that wanders pretty much between our garden, my grandma's garden, and my grandma's neighbor's garden. And she literally broke into my grandma's house to get to the snacks. It was really fun.
That's hilarious. So anyway, putting the past in front of us, how the fuck did it take them that long to diagnose you as diabetic?
I was, because I've been working on it because I promised Ghosty to work on it. I was absolutely amazing at keeping my feelings to myself.
Okay.
The classic case of laughing on the outside, feeling internally dead.
Like as a child.
Yeah. And it let's just say we had to focus on different things as a kid. Like, I got diagnosed with 10. I'm now 25. With, like, diabetes. And what back then was that you just get a lot of stuff onto your plate. Like, daily blood sugar checks. Every time you want to eat something, blood sugar checks. Every time you want to eat something with carbohydrates or sugar, you inject insulin. Then you check afterwards if you did it right, etc., etc. And that was at the beginning of, like, my time at a new school. So I got completely excluded, and for the next 6 years, we focused more on fighting the bullying, which over time just chopped away at my mental health.
I would imagine so. I mean, yeah.
It was a lot. Like, very, very crude names thrown at my head. Parents telling their kids to stay away from me because if they're too close, they might catch it too. Which is absolutely stupid because that's not
Bro,
how you
what?
get diabetes.
What?
Yeah.
What is this AIDS
Yeah.
academic bullshit? Like, what?
Dude, I have no clue. Like, I was freshly educated on it, and at this point in my life, I would say I'm like an expert on type 1 diabetes because I've had it long enough. And even back then, I knew that if I sneezed at you or if I touched you, I wouldn't give you the diabetes. That's not how that works. But still, so for like the first 2 years, I sat in the right utmost corner of the room with a space left to me and up front.
Bro. So you're truly like just fucking isolated from the rest of the kids.
Then we had teachers who wouldn't let me eat when I was low blood sugar. My gym teacher who didn't believe me that with certain sport activities, my blood sugar just plummeted and pretty much like told me it doesn't matter, I can just continue. And I got excluded on every school trip, on every one of those week trips. And that over time just, as I said, just chopped away at my mental health because all you hear is you're different, you're the freak, you're the weirdo. I was excluded because the school nurse, even though my dad offered to pay for himself and take like vacation days to come along and help me take care of my diabetes, even though I was able to do it on my own, said that I was not good enough at handling it, even though she didn't know me. So I was excluded from every single one, except one at the end, where my parents literally went, if you're going to exclude our daughter again, we're going to go to the newspapers and let them write about a story about you discriminating against a type 1 diabetic girl.
Yeah.
And the school went, okay, you know what, we're going to let her come along.
Oh my god. Yeah, they only give a shit once it comes to like a lawsuit.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure that back then it's where it started. And it honestly, now, if I look back at it, it's no wonder that I ended up with depression.
I was literally about to get to that as well. I was just like, of course you're fucking depressed.
Yeah. And that's also like one of the reasons why a lot of type 1 diabetics get depressions is because what we need and no longer naturally can produce is insulin, which is a hormone which takes a lot of influence of like the rest of the hormone balance.
Right. Like
that's why we also easily get depression, because like it just
all your hormones
whirls
are
up everything. Yeah.
So on top of PTSD from childhood, or just fucking shitty childhood.
Yeah.
Also, your hormones are like, I don't think so.
Why make fun of a person with diabetes?
Either.
Because
They're different.
You're different. You're not like everyone else, and it's something new they've never heard of. And humans are, if not open to new things, often scared of something new that they don't know and that they cannot control, and they cannot control it.
Can I throw my hat in the ring about this?
Yeah, of course.
I have a feeling, because like, thinking back to my childhood, there was a kid in our class that was also diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and now me being undiagnosed autistic kid, I was just like, why is everyone being mean to him? He gets to have snacks. If anything, you should be jealous.
What a way to see it! I love that. I love that.
But what was happening is that all the adults in the room were looking at this kid and judging him. And judging him for like having to fucking just take care of his diabetes, like with the needles and stuff and the insulin.
Yeah.
And they like were like scared of him for some reason. So because of this, because the adults had this like preconceived notion of what diabetes is. And I'm about to go super deep with this for a second. So because they had this preconceived notion, all the kids saw that and then they copied that behavior. Okay, blank, period. Next sentence. The adults in of themselves, the reason that we I think the reason that we, what's the word I want to use? Dehumanize or like we discriminate against people with diabetes is because Because the first thing that you think of when you think of diabetes is an old fat person.
Yes! Yes! Thank you!
Yeah.
I just wanted to say it. It's exactly that.
And literally a combination of fat phobia and ageism. Not even necessarily a Wilfred Brimley type, but that's just what you think of. Even before Wilfred Brimley existed and was like an advocate. Like,
Yeah.
you thought diabetes and you thought super overweight, old adult, useless, ageism, diabetic,
it is that.
lazy, like all these things.
It's
really
literally that, because here's the thing. I am chubby. I
Same.
love food, and fuck
Same.
yeah.
Food's great.
So I am an overweight type 1 diabetic.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, the amount of times I had to tell people, no, I didn't get diabetes because I'm fat. I got it because my immune system was like, you know what? Fuck this pancreas. And I can eat as much salad as I want. I will still, unalive if I don't
Right.
get insulin. Very simple.
I will fucking do a die.
Exactly, yeah. I will see the radishes growing from beneath if I do not get my insulin. It doesn't matter if I do a diet or not.
So here we go. We add in fat phobia, we add in ageism, but a subset of fat phobia, or part of fat phobia, and inevitably a subset of being ableist in general, especially about invisible disabilities like diabetes, which I think we could safely call as like an invisible
It is.
disorder, I suppose.
It gets put into invisible disabilities
Yeah.
here in Australia.
I would
It's
say
like 40 to
so.
50%
Right.
disabled.
Yeah, okay. Good. I'm glad I'm on the right side of King here right now. So you add all that in, all in that stigma, but then you also add in the fucking the evilness of fat, and you're diabetic. Oh, you must have done something to deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're sick. Like, you must have, you just drank too much soda. Like, your parent must be like really irresponsible. Just fucking injected that sugar straight into you to fuck you up permanent. Like, no, like that's not how this works.
So,
Also,
there's this thing.
all the ignorance.
Yeah. A lot of parents actually get depression as well.
Mhm.
Because they get that stigma thrown at their face. What did you feed your kid that it get diabetes? Right. And my mom actually had depression. Very, very badly even. And here's the thing that also explains why it took so long for people to figure out with me. I never knew. I never knew that she was in therapy, that she took antidepressants, and that she was depressed. Because she kept it away. And that's how I handled my feeling sad and my feeling off too. Like I took it, put it away, and ignored it until it got really, really bad. Then I had to cope for it with like 2 to 3 days, and then I could like put it away again. Mm-hmm. So that's also why it took so long, because I was in denial and I was just like,
because it was normalized for you. It was normalized for you. It's like, well, my mom's like this and she's fine, so I must be fine.
Exactly. But yeah, it is a lot of assumptions, and the thing is, there's a saying here that the loudest people are the most stupid.
Yeah, it's a kind of expression here too.
Okay, and like the thing is, those people
the loud, ignorant
do not.
Minority.
Yeah, the loud people do not shy back from being rude.
That's true.
I've had to like inject insulin in a bus one day because my blood sugar was just skyrocketing, going super high. And an elderly lady actually went to 12-year-old me and was like, "Do your heroin somewhere else." And I was like, huh?
Yeah, your heroin. I saw that one coming. I'm like, she thought you were shooting up.
Like, yeah, in my tummy as a 12-year-old in a public bus. And I was like, what?
Woo!
Huh?
Sheesh, let's unpack that one for a second.
And And stuff like that
Fucking-
still happens to this day.
Oh my
And
God.
I'm like, honestly, it's no wonder. The more I talk about it openly, and it took a whole long time to talk about my diabetes and to talk about how much it actually takes influence on my mental health. It took so long. Like, I met my boyfriend over 7 years ago, and it took 3 years to like actually get to the point where I could be like, you know, it could have been worse. I could have gotten a way worse chronic illness, but you know what? This shit sucks. and talk
never
about
go
how it
if it
influenced
could've
me
been
in like so many ways that now that I'm getting older, I'm like realizing, you know what? It makes sense. There was a lot of bullshit that happened. It makes sense that I'm now depressed and have to go back a whole long time and just take every single thing as a little bento box of trauma and unwrap it and work through it.
As trauma-focused therapy should be.
If I find a therapist for it.
So you still don't have one.
No, I haven't found one yet.
Well, did you know that WabaStreams now offers 1v1 peer support sessions?
Ooh.
$50 a pop.
Oh.
But we'll always
That is
encourage
nice.
you to like seek a professional as well.
Now I
And
need to
it's like a
decide,
giant
will I do
disclaimer.
that or will I just talk about how life is fucking weird in my streams?
Both, because I like talking to fellow content creators about how weird life is in our streams.
It's interesting because
No, but, like,
I was
seriously.
always very insecure about talking about
Mhm.
it because like a lot of unseen disabilities and mental health stuff is still a very big taboo topic here.
Yeah.
And
Is it really? Oh,
It
wait.
is.
In Austria, yeah.
it is.
Somehow
it
doesn't
is.
surprise me.
When you openly talk about going to therapy, people like you can see their mimic kind of just going, huh? For a second before they realize, oh shit, they're looking at me. And they have to like regain their face. It's still very, very taboo, and I think that's abso-fucking-lutely stupid. Because, like, you don't go and tell a person who broke their leg, you're just imagining it. No.
I
They
have
broke
a
their
sense,
leg and they need healing.
I have a feeling that therapist that kept telling you like, oh, sometimes we just have to leave things in the past. Like, you could have gone in there with like a stump leg or something. and been like, I lost my leg in a horrific accident with a bear trap. And she's like, well, sometimes, you know, you have to leave your past behind you.
It's
I don't know.
therapy is still interesting. Like, as I said, I didn't know my mom went into therapy until my dad and I actually had a screaming match about it. Because before I got diagnosed with depression and stuff, and I was still living at home, at one point, my blood sugars were just out of control because my depression was so bad at that point that I just didn't care about it. I didn't care about it. It wouldn't go away either, so why should I do something about it?
Right.
And I had a screaming match with my dad, and I was like, I'm tired of it. And my dad was like, yeah, we understand. It's not gonna go away. And I remember screaming at him and being like, I want this to be over. And my dad saying, yeah, your mom gets that. And me realizing what he meant with that, because her depression had gotten so bad at that point. And me realizing that the reason why she got there was because of my diabetes. And I think back then, that hit me immensely. And my dad instantly, he told me, it's not my fault. It never was. Nobody chose for me to get diabetes.
It feels like your fault in that moment.
Yeah. My mom had gotten her depression because she thought it was her fault that I had gotten it. And I thought she had gotten her depression because of me. It's like a weird, fucked up devil's circle that just
But
goes
it makes
down.
sense. That's how depression works, you know?
And I'm really glad that my mom got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she like found herself a lot more. Funnily enough, my dad, because of a lot of things that have happened in his life before that, was able to take it a lot easier than the rest of us, thankfully, because
sure.
otherwise I think our family would have gone upside down at a point. But real talk, I think without the support of my family in the early days, yeah, I think a lot worse things could have happened, to phrase it like that. Because when I got it, you're like 10. Your life is sugar, soda pop, birthday cakes, and snacks, and
a lot of traps.
yes, all that. And then you get the diagnosis that if you ever want to eat something carbohydrate and sugar, you have to take an insulin pen and inject yourself with insulin.
Mm-hmm.
And the world stops. Because you think, oh yeah, you know what, that's gonna be for 1 or 2 months, and then there's a doctor in front of you and a nurse, and the doctor looks at you and is like, no, that's not gonna be away in a month. It's forever. And then the nurse looks at you and says, yeah, you can only eat this if you like prick your finger for the blood sugar check, and then inject insulin. And you're sitting there like a 10-year-old kid that hasn't eaten since lunch the day before.
Right.
And life stops. And I'm pretty sure that was point zero where depression just started creeping in and being like, you know what? This is comfortable. I'm gonna stay here.
Mm.
And then it took a few years to realize that maybe not only insulin would be good for me, but also therapy, antidepressants, talking about it, and learning to accept it, because when you get something that will stick for you with you forever, there's this enormous amount of rage and denial. You hate it. You don't want it. You never asked for it. You can't change it. And you try to push everything away. And
yeah,
I only realized that I need mental health help once I realized that shit won't get better if I try to fight it. I don't have to love it. I will never love it. Why should I? It's not something I selected. But I have to work with it, otherwise it can get me one day. Because if I continue to ignore it and not work with it, I could lose a leg. I could go blind. I could need dialysis in the future. So, during a talk with my sister, where she talked to me about how at a point in the past she had thought I had not survived the night because I had misjudged my blood sugars. I realized, you know what? Even if I'm not doing this for myself, I don't want my family to be in pain. Yeah. And that's where I realized, you know what? If I want to accept it, I need to work on it mentally too. Because I cannot accept it if I just lock it away. That's not how that works. And I needed help figuring out how to go into the situation and be like, yeah, you know what? I fucking hate you. I really don't want you there. But you're a part of me. And that's it. You are not me. You are a part of me. My depression and my diabetes are a part of me. They are not who I am.
Of course.
That's their spot, and that's something it took me a while to learn. At the beginning, it was like stuck in my head where I was like, great. Now I am the depressed diabetic. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's the definition of this like self-sustained stigma, you know, and
world's worst double D, depressed and diabetic.
True.
Thank you.
Not the double D as we want to see.
Yeah, really. And then I was like, you just have to accept it and work with it. It's not me, it's a part of me, and that took so long to realize. And every time when like depression is like, you know what, you should really walk off that cliff into the deep depression pit, it wants to come back and be like, you know what, I'm the monster lurking in the dark. I can sink my nails into you and I can drag you down with me and there will be no way out. And thankfully, over the past years, it has gotten easier to be like, no, fuck you. Screw that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, damn. Speed run.
Yeah. And thankfully it gets easier talking about it as well. Like,
that's good. I'm glad that it has, and I think you should also take a moment just to be proud of yourself, because there's a lot of people out there that are still in that headspace of like, I am my diagnosis, you know.
And that's honestly, that's fine. It's not easy to get out of that. As I said, it took me years to realize, no, I am not diabetes. I am not depression. I am me. And there's a few add-ons I like. Like, I love my glasses. They're fantastic. I see nothing without them because... but, and then there's add-ons that I don't like my depression and my diabetes, but they're add-ons. And at one point, I might be able to uninstall the depression add-on, so who knows? Nice. I can work on those things.
I'm pretty sure what it was is that God had to nerf you.
Yeah.
It was too powerful.
I got nerfed, that was too good. That's a good way of seeing it.
You never heard that one before?
No, I've never.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of good things people have to say about like depression or diabetes, but a thing that will always and forever stick with me is I just call my insulin. And one day I asked Ghosty, could you grab me my insulin from the fridge? And he put the ampule down in front of me and said, here's your ambrosia. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, your ambrosia. And I was like, I've never seen it like that. But it kind of is. and that's nice. Yeah.
It's awesome. It's kind of sweet in a way.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of my mental health journey in getting better and realizing that I need to do something mainly happened because of Ghosty. Because I want our future to be great. And our future can only be great if I'm doing good. So
yeah, absolutely.
I need to work on that. And Ghosty did stuff too, like he stopped smoking. I'm really happy about that. Like, God, thank. I'm not a fan of smoking. So hi, Opal. I see a few people from my community in here. That makes me happy.
Welcome in. I'm sorry, I have alerts off on this scene, but thank you for the follow before.
I'm not sure if there's like any questions or stuff.
I
think I'm pretty much told everything.
Done? Fuck. Questions,
I'm not sure
concerns?
if you have more questions about
more
like
questions?
Either diabetes or my depression or the combo of it. I'm open to talk about it. That's one beer.
I mean, honestly, the like medical shit causing depression, causing other mental health stuff to come up is not an unfamiliar topic to me personally. But I know to like other people that might be watching this later, it seems like such a weird thing because it's like, you know, why is medical thing connected to mental health thing? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, well, my friend, mental health starts in the brain, and guess what? The brain fucking functions with, you know,
hormones,
neurotransmitters, and hormones.
We love those.
Yeah. So like, if your diet, if your disability, if your physical diagnosis fucks with any of that stuff, guess what? Guess who?
And that's how you get one of the shitty 2-in-1 deals.
Yep, pretty much.
It's like a running gag with a friend of mine.
Or alternatively, and what you have experienced as well, which other people have experienced, is just like being discriminated against in general.
Oh yes,
That can just
Oh,
cause you to be
I
fucked
have
up.
a fun story. You want to hear it? If you're ready to be confused by the Austrian system.
Oh god. Oh god, we're talking about health systems. Oh my god.
Oh,
I mean,
not
I'm in
really.
America,
Other bureaucracy. So I got my driving license when I was 18, and back then they had just changed the law that a certain part of only type 1 diabetics who made their driving license before a certain date have to send in their long-term blood sugar check numbers once a year.
What?
And every 5 years, they have to send in an all healthcare check, which is $310 that healthcare doesn't care for. You have to pay on your own. And if at any point on those like yearly checks or 5-year check, the doctor checking that thinks, you know what, that long-term blood sugar is not good, they can just take away your driving license. But it's not for all diabetics. And not for all epileptics. It's just for like a certain part of type 1 diabetics who made their driving license before a certain date.
This is like what?
Yeah. And we checked with a lawyer. We were like, how the fuck do you discriminate against a minority of a disability? And we were like, can we do something about that? And he was like, no, Austria is allowed to do that. And I was like, what?
Why?
Austria is just allowed to pick some people to pick on or what? But apparently, yes. It's really stupid. And also, I have so many fun stories. You can clearly see why these things like take an influence on mental health as well. Like,
But it's like a subset of people, though. It's not all
Yeah.
diabetics. It's
no, it's not even type 2 diabetics. You take the type 1 diabetics, and from the type 1 diabetics, you take a part that has finished their license before a certain date. And they have to do that. The others after that, no. It's really stupid.
Make it make sense.
It's like, who? Or there's like how do you call them? In German they're called Kinderbeihilfe. It's something the state pays to families for their kids.
Yes, I know what that is. I actually know what this is.
Child support from the state. Yeah, pretty much that. And
It's
if
a
you have a
specific
disability,
thing, but yeah.
you get a little bit more. And when I turned 16, the state started to be like, are you sure your diabetes is still as bad? So I had to go to yearly checkups with a psychologist who asked me questions and doubted my mental state and the severity of my diabetes. Which was super stupid. And then at 18, I got a letter where I actually had, like, after that, I had a really long depressive phase where I was like, you know what? I don't care about life anymore. Because Austria sent me a letter that said the state child support will get reduced to less than it was. Because
The fuck?
I'm now 18 and my diabetes is less worse.
What?
And my mom, dad, and I read it and we're like, what, huh? How did we miss that update? Huh?
Congrats on the recovery.
Yeah,
I guess the
congrats on
diabetes just went away.
Woo!
Congrats on the recovery. Yeah,
really
right.
stupid. It just magic. And we literally called it and we're like, do
you dumb?
Do you know how that works?
Are you dumb?
Like,
Are you actually dumb?
Yeah. It's like every time back with my old insulin system when I had to call to get like a replacement for something. And my favorite call was with a person who was like, I have nothing at home. There's nothing. You have not delivered anything to me. And lady just takes a break and goes, well, if you don't have anything at home, you can just go to the hospital.
Yeah, I fucking guess I could go to the hospital, or you could give
I
me
was
my
like,
fucking
that's
equipment.
your solution? Really?
Jesus Christ.
They were like 2 weeks late on delivering my life-dependent stuff, and we're like,
Yeah,
well, you can just go to the
well,
hospital. It's not our problem.
I guess if you don't want to die, you know,
And then
you could just, check yourself in the
like,
hospital.
I don't care.
Thanks. I guess I will.
Guess I'll die. Or literally. Because a lot of things that people don't know is, and I really love that, is when you first of all, the fucking jokes, like, oh my god, I'm gonna eat so much chocolate, I'm gonna get diabetes. Like, no. The only thing you're gonna get is go more brain dead, because if you think that's how diabetes works, you pretty much have no IQ.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that people think that with diets you can get it away. And every time I read that, it's like, I wish, like, I wish, and it's every time I read somewhere, yeah, if you, what was the worst thing I read? If you drink a lukewarm glass of water infused with paprika, your diabetes will go away in 2 weeks.
All right. Well,
And,
that
like,
being said, I'm gonna get up now and go get some water.
I was just gonna get some water. No paprika.
I'm just gonna get some water. Maybe put some paprika in it. A little spicy water. You know, just in case I have a little mild case of the diabetes. You know, I mean, they said I was pre-diabetic a couple of years ago, but I'm fine. I feel fine.
Nice.
Yeah, I haven't been to a doctor in a while.
Get yourself some water.
I'm surprised it wasn't apple cider vinegar, right?
It's gonna wash away the diabetes. It's
You
very
just
easy.
You just gotta drink some dirty water.
Mm.
Some raw water.
Some crunchy water.
Some raw water. That way you won't die of diabetes, but you'll die of fucking hepatitis B.
Woo!
Also, my cat is annoying me, and he wants a something.
Well, you gotta do what the cat wants. It's very simple.
Like, with type
Some
2
rocks in it.
diabetes, you can control it pretty fucking well with, like,
You
diet
can-
and exercise, but it
You can
still
get to
doesn't necessarily-
non-diabetic. You
Yeah.
can get back to non-diabetic with type 2 diabetes. I can eat
Sure.
as much salad as I want. I will still turn into an unalive if I don't take insulin.
Don't
Doesn't
turn into an
change.
unalive. You don't have an unalive PNG. You can't do that. It's not savvy.
Yeah, sure, I don't have one.
It's not business
I just
savvy.
thought about it, but no.
Exactly. you don't have an unalive tiny Tubie PNGer. All right.
No.
So you can't do it. Sorry. I'm now your VTubing company, and I forbid you from that.
Okay. And that, my friends, is how you go
You
immortal.
have to commission that art first.
Yes. Well, I don't have to commission. I'm just gonna draw it myself.
I have depression, but I don't take medication. I just deal with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm getting up now. I'll be back. Vamp for
Take your time.
a few seconds.
Mhm. But yeah, if I don't know if anyone has questions, like on like my diabetes or depression, I don't care. Just ask. That's why I'm here. I won't bite because I had a lot of very good Chinese food today. So much so that I took a nap. I love how like Parva got their earbuds in now, and nobody's talking.
See, you're talking, but you're not talking. What happened?
I was amused about how Parva was like, haha, I have my earbuds in now.
You're taking a shower, but you're still here? Damn, Jeffrey's dedicated.
Wee!
Ravenfire, how's it going? And Walltop, oh my god, what is this? Is this coordinated? This feels coordinated. Welcome in, Raiders, how's it going? Welcome in Mental Health Talk Place and Career Safe Space. I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're taking care of yourself out there. Welcome in. It was very coordinated, I see. Welcome in. How is game? How is game that I forgot that I forgot which game you're playing. Shit, you told me, and I forgot. Welcome in. We're just finishing up with our first guest here. This is Mental Health Monday, where we can check in, talk about mental health, and we talk about mental health openly anyway. I'm like a variety gamer. Hold on. You know what? I know we're in the middle of a YouTube video technically, but let me just play the video because it's easier.
Come catch Waba live. Come catch Waba live. Only on Twitch. Come catch Waba live. Only on Twitch.
I've messed everything up, so just pretend everything just went fine. Man of Medan, right. Hi there everyone, my name is Waba. I'm a non-binary, pansexual, autistic, neurodivergent, and queer content creator who focuses on mental health and cozy, chaotic variety content. I'm the host of Mental Health Mondays, which is a interview-style podcast where I interview folks on a topic of the month. My community is called the Waba Fam. It is your mental health talk place and queer safe space. We are a family of choice that offers peer support to others and also provides resources when necessary. As always, we're nobody's therapist, but we're always your fiercest mental health advocate. To that end, we also support various charities, including ones focusing on mental health, LGBTQ, and other marginalized communities. Also, we have cats, Nero, Sky, and Angel. So what do you say? Join the Waba Fam today and get you some love and heckin' support. And be sure to also follow me on my other socials, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. They're all down there in the About section below. Bye-bye. So anyway, yeah, all that. And some cake. Thank you for the follows, by the way. Celine's Dijon. I love that name. And Lizzie Blina. Thank you so much.
That's mustard.
It is
Dijon.
mustard. I love it.
It's good
Decompressing
mustard.
before the interview? Yes. Please decompress. We will take our time. We will vamp. We'll probably do a little short check in the middle. I'll probably down more of my sandwich. So, yeah.
Good. Food's always
Parva's
good.
not home. Parva, get home. Parva, come home. Oh yes, does your new insulin pump have a name? That was a question
He
from
actually
before.
has. His name is Pumphrey Pompey Tuber II, because the first one actually died a few days ago.
I'm calling
That's hilarious.
I actually not let my community name him.
Mhm.
And I even made an old black and white rest in peace picture for the old one.
That's adorable. It's fucking adorable. Oh,
But yeah,
also, if you're
yeah.
just joining us, by the way, chat, we are talking with Tiny Tubie here, who was talking with us about their experiences with depression due to diabetes and also due to like other childhood trauma BS stuff. But yeah, sorry. Go on.
That's
go on.
me.
A moment of silence for the pump, indeed.
Yes, rip. He died a very, very poor death of just like one of the things that needs to happen so I can put in new insulin, just not working anymore. Just
the
randomly
part where
going.
you put the insulin in.
Yeah,
A really big part of life.
yeah. It's literally the part where you
It's
put the
literally the
insulin
part
in.
where-
When you know what,
I mean,
I'm not gonna work anymore. And I was like, honey,
who
that's a bad idea.
Oh, it's silly. You just gerrymander. It's fine. You know, just
And I
just
looked
use
at
an
it
old
and was
soda
like,
can. I'm
sir,
glad.
why did you do that?
You know, when you told me that in chat the other day, I panicked for you because I was like,
Yeah,
well, fuck.
I forgot to tell you guys that like a lot of things in Austria are wonky, but at
Mhm.
least the healthcare is great. and I had like in 3.5 hours I had a replacement pump, which felt like an illegal substance exchange in a dark alley. Because I got like the area we live in, which is kind of like a gated community, doesn't have lights during night time. Like there's no external lights that like light up the pathways. So we were just standing in front of the gate, and he handed me a brown package with my new insulin pump in it and was like, sign here. And I was like, okay. And I gave him my old one.
Oh my god.
It's like, this feels very illegal.
It was a drug exchange.
Yeah. Well, kind of. It was for my drugs.
He was giving you the implement to use your drugs.
Exactly. That's also like the amount of times I had to explain to people that no, this is not a weird MP3 player. This is not an iPod. And then, like, when I started speaking English regularly, we went on a trip in a new school. And I was allowed to come along. And I wasn't that fluent in English yet. And the dude points at my insulin pump and looks at me and goes, "Oh, there are drugs in there." And I was sitting there like,
technically? Technically, yes, but not the ones you're looking for.
And then he looked at me and went, "You need to take that off and let us inspect it." And I was like, no. I was like, yes. And I was like, no, that's my insulin. Like, I need Ted to stay alive. And he was like, "You can do without it." And I was like, no,
I can't.
Honey, no.
I'm sorry, are you a doctor?
But yeah, like, things like that happen regularly. And like, that just, depending on how well I slept that day, it either just kicks me into a I hate life episode on the next day, or I just add it to my people are stupid folder. Because there are some questions from, like, grown-up adults where I'm like, if you think before you speak, you know you will sound stupid.
Yeah.
Or if you think before you act, because with an old insulin system I had a teenager actually try to
rip it from
don't
you?
have a panic attack for me.
I mean,
No!
honestly, though.
Stop!
That's not how that works.
I know, but still, stop!
Oh my god.
But, you know, like, after a time, you just get, like, it just feels like you're wrapped in cotton when you're around stupid people who just have no clue what they're talking about. Like that one time a teen tried to rip off my old insulin pump because they thought it was an iPod and they could just easily steal it from me. And I turned around and told them if they do that, I will go to the police and get them charged for trying to murder me. And he looked at me and went, "Dude, chill." I was like, no.
I'm like, dude, no, I won't chill.
Shut up. Yeah, Parv and I are on one board. Like, we're on board of the diabetes is ass boat. It's not a great name for a boat, but it works.
I'm trying to think if wait, Parva, are you diabetic? Did I know that?
Yeah. Parv is diabetic. Yeah.
If I knew
We're
that,
on the
I'm
same
sorry.
boat.
Oops.
It's funny because it's a thing, like a lot of mental health things, you just don't see it. Which makes it interesting because when I go to people and they are like, "So what's up with you?" and then I just tell them at one point, like, "Yeah, and I have diabetes," or like the depression comes up, they're like, "What? You don't look like it." Like, what's that supposed to mean?
I mean, I also literally don't see Parva or you. You're both VTubers, so. You know.
I do have to say, this is pretty much the hairstyle that I have in real life. And the glasses are exactly the same. Like, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah, they're pretty much a part of who I am now, so
I
can never switch frames anymore.
That's right. You have to draw the whole new model again.
Oh yes, having a pump ripped off is really shit. Like, whew. It's not nice. But yeah, it's
Imagine,
a lot
it's
of
awful.
those things. Like, I love answering questions of kids because they have like the
Genuine
most
questions.
honest curiosity. Yeah. Like, random fun fact about me, I actually finished one education on working with kids. So I'm legally allowed to work with kids.
Nice.
Not sure why someone wouldn't trust women with like 25 kids, but okay.
Sure.
And during my practice time, it was summer and kids could see the insulin pump. And they were just like tiptoeing around me trying to figure out what it was. And I told my mentor, was like, here, let me just give me like half an hour. I will explain them as easily as possible why I need this. And then they can ask questions. And then from there on we go. She was like, yeah. And I explained what it was. And one of the boys looked up at me and was like, wait, does that mean you're a robot? I was like, yeah, kind of. And he was like, wow, that's so cool. And with that, it was over for them. It was solved. I was a robot and I'm cool.
Nice.
So that's that. Adults ask questions like, so did you eat unhealthy as a kid, or did you try a diet? Kids are like, does it mean you can still eat cotton candy? And I'm like, yeah, if I would like to, I could. They're like, okay. It's pretty simple. They ask the important questions. They're like, can you eat candy? You're like, yeah. They're like, fine.
I mean, can you?
I don't care.
Can you eat void? Would you like some
I'm
void?
not sure if eating cats is that good.
No, eat a void.
Yeah, cats are void. They can just adjust to every kind of thing they want to lie in.
I have a void.
They take all your love.
I have a piece of void in my hand here.
Oh.
It's delicious.
I'm not sure. but yeah, it's interesting. Like I'm used to a lot of very stupid questions. And what's really funny is before I went like back into therapy and before I got diagnosed with a depression, a question that always like instantly you could bet your ass on it, like put me into a depressive hole, was, will it ever get away? Will it ever go away? And accepting it that it won't and saying no took me 5 to 10 minutes. And I remember my little cousin, I don't know why kids forget so quickly, but I mean, I get it. I forget quickly as well. Asked me, so you need this so you can eat candy. I was like, yeah, and bread and rice. And she was like, no, there's no rice in there's no sugar in rice. And I was like, yes, there's carbohydrates. She's like, what? Mind blown. And she was like, so if you do everything right, will it ever go away? And nowadays, that question doesn't hurt anymore. But back then, it was like those movie scenes where the camera spins around the main character and the main character sees everything in slow motion. And then you're standing there and you can hear your heartbeat in your ears and you can hear the blood rush. And your brain is telling you have to say no. Do it. Do it. And the little child that hasn't gotten over it yet, that it will stay forever, that's like sitting in you, it's like, no. Don't say it. If you say it out loud, it's true. So back then that was so hard. And now I'm like, yeah, shit sticks. It's gonna be there, and it sucks that it's gonna be there.
Absolutely.
But I'm just treating my inner child to other things. If I can't give my inner child the feeling of never being a diabetic again, I'm just gonna treat them to plushies. And I have a shit ton of those. Like so many.
Plushie it up.
So yeah, that those are things where I realized that my mental health is getting better. And then there's cases where I'm like, yeah, I'm not fully there yet. Before I tagged you in your Discord,
Mhm.
I literally asked Ghosty, is what I am going through and what I went through even like mental health?
Yes.
And Ghosty went, yeah.
Fucking yes. Hello?
I was like, okay. And those are moments where I'm like, yeah, I'm not fully there yet, but I am getting there. It takes time.
Yeah,
And I think that's
absolutely.
the thing that's the most annoying thing about it. Like,
And acceptance is the thing that takes the longest to get to. Even when you like reach that stage, you are still like re-experiencing it and reprocessing it and looking at it through different lenses.
and like,
Yeah, I know, Parvo.
you don't
Literally,
get to that point.
I was like 3 hours.
Oh,
Oh, no.
yeah.
No. 3 weeks minimum.
The amount of horror stories I've heard was horrible, and I'm like, thank God I'm in Austria. But yeah, what I realized, and it took me long to get there, is that I didn't get to my worst point overnight.
Mhm.
It took a long time to get there, so it's completely fine if it takes a long time to get better too.
Mhm.
You can't undo big damages with like a little spot of healing cream or something. That's not how that works. You gotta work on it, and sometimes you have to go and reopen old wounds where you were like, you know what, I'm not gonna touch that. And then you realize, you know what? I had to do that, but it's gonna be a lot more work, and it's fine. And if you don't always feel like working with it, it's fine too, because it's hard. It's a lot of work, and getting better isn't easy, and it's not a walk in the park, and it doesn't happen overnight, but there will be moments where you realize, you know what? I've gotten better. Like, a few months ago, I wouldn't have reacted like that, or a year ago, I would have spent the next 2 months just sulking, like sitting in my room. And now I don't.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it's just like many things in life, it's a lot of work. It's tedious and it's exhausting. And yes, you deserve breaks and you need to take breaks, because only if you're well rested you can work on getting better. And just
Absolutely.
because you might not see the difference doesn't mean that there is none. Because there's always difference. Little things can make big imprints. You just have to stick to it and do it for future you. Because just because now you feels like the future might just be shit, who knows?
You sound
Now
like your
you
own best
can
advocate
change
right
that.
now. And I love it.
I know. It's really funny because here's the thing that I've heard multiple times in my streams. People questioning my age.
Hate that.
People are like, sure you're only 25? I'm like, yes, I'm only 25. I really am.
Do you want me to tell you something that you might not like, though?
What?
Whenever someone says, oh my god, you're so wise for your age, like, oh my god, you sound like an old sage. It's a trauma. It's a trauma. Mm-hmm.
It's a trauma, yeah.
Oh, good. This
That's
is how
what
I know that you watch my
told
streams.
a friend.
This is now.
It's literally a friend once asked me, how are you so wise for your age? And I'm like, dude, it's the trauma.
It's a trauma.
If you get hit by something over the back of your head and you cannot change shit about it, there's two options. You deny it and throw a tantrum, or you grow up.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of options, a lot of things that hit you over the head, if you ignore them and throw a tantrum, might go bad. And I've been down that road. Like my blood sugars were so bad that at a point the doctors thought I had to go into dialysis.
Wow.
And like, you have to grow up if you want to or not. Life and your body will not wait till you've grown up. It will continue.
That's true.
And
Life
best
goes on,
case, you
whether or not you're
realize
ready
that you
for
need
it.
to grow up before the shit is burning, or you realize at a point where you look around and shit's on fire that it's a bit late. So, like, that's what I learned. Like, I remember my grandpa, may he rest in peace, saying, when I was like 16, he had sat down with me and said, you know, you may be very grown up for your age, but it's at a cost. And I was like, what do you mean? And he looked at me and said, it's very simply explained. You are that grown up for your age because you lost your childhood. And I was sitting there at 16 like, damn, Grandpa. That's a lot of real talk. I was just trying to eat my lunch here. But he's true. Like, at a certain point, if you get hit by chronic diseases, especially if you're like young and you're like in the middle of childhood or puberty and like growing up and trying to find yourself, and you get bitch slapped by a chronic disease, you have to grow up. Why am I calling you out like that? Because I'm calling myself out.
As you should. As you should. I love this.
That's what life be.
This is ideal mental health Monday guests. They just talk on their own. They advocate for themselves. This is great. It's beautiful.
I do love talking, so
I love putting people on this stage and letting them tell their story. So thank you for telling your story. Thank you for telling your truth.
I'm always happy to.
I love it. Where can people find you?
Oh, pretty much everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm on Twitch under Tiny Tubie. You can find me under Tiny Tubie on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm on YouTube as well. Though I'm not that regular on YouTube, I'm really bad with holding a schedule on that.
I feel that.
But yeah,
Links in the description
let
below.
me see. We're playing... I'm streaming tomorrow, actually. We're gonna play Valheim, which is like a Nordic-inspired survival game, which is really fun.
It's an interesting game.
It is.
You'll
we
have
haven't
more
played
fun
it in
with friends,
ages.
though.
Yeah, I'm playing it with Ghosty, actually, which is
Okay,
fun because
perfect.
I'm trying to like survive and he's off trying to shank a troll with a little
It do be
toothpick.
like that.
So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for
But yeah.
joining us.
Thanks for having me. It was really fun, even though it was nervous as fuck.
You're fine. This was awesome. Thank you. Seriously. And are we good? Am I okay to post this on the YouTube?
Yes, of
You
course,
can-
of course.
You can always tell me no later.
No, honestly, I'm fine. Just post it.
Okay.
It's like, let the news be out there.
I
I'm
will.
a depressed diabetic who
Oh my
likes
God.
to talk. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun dun dun. Good. All right.